950, the progressive voice of Minnesota. Programming brought to you by EatLocalMinnesota.com. Restaurant of the week is Bad Waitress, the 700 Central in Northeast Minneapolis location. Try their version of bangers and mash. It's actually quite good. Very tasty. A lot of great food on their menu. Stop on out and enjoy. It's Bad Waitress, 700 Central Avenue in Northeast Minneapolis, the EatLocalMinnesota.com restaurant of the week. Democrat of the day is from 52-B. Ruth Richardson is running as the DFL candidate down there to try to win back that seat for the Democrats, and she's kind enough to join us today. Hi, Ruth.
Hi, Matt. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. It's. I have to admit, it's just a gorgeous day. To a point, I get a little envious of you guys when you get to go out and do door knocking and stuff because, I've got to go outside right now. Bye.
It's glamorous, but someone has to do it.
Yeah, very much so. You are, of course, running 52-B, which the Republicans currently hold. This is a seat that the Democrats very easily could pick up. So why don't we start with explaining who exactly is Ruth Richardson?
Sure. So I actually was born and raised in Minnesota. My family made the decision to choose Minnesota as their home before I was born. My parents were from the South, and they came here in search of economic opportunity. And, one of the things that they really instilled in each of us, a large working class family with 4 brothers and 3 sisters, is the value of hard work. I was the first person in my family to go to college, and I worked 3 jobs to put myself through law school while raising 2 young children. And I have used sort of my experience and resources to try to build a better Minnesota. So my decision to run has really been based on the fact that I've been doing this work behind the scenes in the community, really trying to build a stronger state.
What was there a specific catalyst that said, okay, enough's enough, it's now time for me to run?
I think the 2016 election was a wake-up call for a lot of people. I made the decision to run after being asked by several people who said, hey, have you ever thought about running? Oftentimes for women candidates, I think the average is that it takes women being asked 7 times to run before they throw their hat in the ring. So I definitely had some encouragement from those who thought that I could do some really good work at the state capitol.
So you're going to go for 52-B. Explain exactly where at 52-B. It's down the Southeast Metro, right?
It is. So it's made up of Sunfish Lake, Inver Grove Heights, Northern Egan, and Mendota Heights.
And it's one of those districts in the Southeast. There's a lot of districts that generally get pretty tight in most election years. It's a 51-49 or a 52-48 district. I mean, there's usually a pretty tight race. But when we look at what we've seen across the country and the numbers that are coming out from these kind of surveys of the public and where exactly they're at politically, the Democrats are looking at picking up a lot of numbers in this. So this is. You feel like this is definitely a seat that you could win, correct?
Yeah, I definitely think that the seat is winnable. The last election was decided by less than 1%. I believe it was 121 votes.
Wow.
Difference that was made within that election. And, the seat was held for 14 years by a Democrat, Joe Atkins. And so I think that this is definitely a winnable seat.
And when you look at the Republicans, because, as much as they're trying to play what they just did at the state capitol as, politics and as normal, it's not. I was looking at the ag bill that they just put out there. They put a poison pill in there to try to force Governor Dayton to sign it, saying that if he didn't sign it, the nitrate standards were going to get removed. So basically, because Governor Dayton just vetoed that bill, the water quality standards in outstate Minnesota because of nitrates are now in the groundwater are now going to go away. Who does this? These are really, and I know that this is me saying this. There are some real horrible people in the Republican Party that are trying to do some real evil things, and I think we need to get rid of them and get some common sense, rational thought processes back when it comes to making laws in the state of Minnesota.
Well, I think one of the things that Minnesotans are really seeing what's happening right now when we have bills that are advancing through the legislature, I mean, we have policies that talk about like one subject, per bill, and we see what happens when you have 900
Yeah.
page bills that have tons of things in them. It creates an untenable situation in many ways. And, the work that I have had the opportunity and the privilege to do within the community, it really has been bipartisan work. And when you're thinking about water quality shouldn't be a partisan issue.
No.
Everyone wants clean water, right? When we talk about safe schools, everyone wants their children to be safe. And so I think it's really important that we get back to the end goal. And how do we get there? And definitely it's going to take compromise. But I think it's really important that we have people in the legislature who can work across the aisle and who can work across ideology, because ultimately it's all about getting things done for the families that live in Minnesota.
And that's not saying that you're not going to be a Democrat. Of course you're going to be a Democrat, but the current system is, we're not going to show you what the bill is. We're not going to tell you what it is. Here's 990 pages. We vote in 2 hours. And that's not legislation. That's basically a ransom note.
Yeah, and I think that it was trending this weekend, just the thought process of receiving a bill at 7 p.m. and having a vote just a few hours later. And what we really, I think, just want to keep in mind is, how do we do work at the legislature that is going to build a stronger Minnesota? And I think if everyone comes to the Capitol with that at the forefront of their mind, we'll be able to work through many of these things. But it's important that people keep that end goal in mind, because it's not about us as individuals, it's about our whole community.
What would you like to bring to 52B? What would be the issues you'd like to champion in St. Paul at the Capitol?
There are lots of issues that I would like to champion. Thinking about politics are often very personal for people. And some of the personal issues that I really see as part of my vision is thinking about things like supporting small business and development, economic prosperity, not just for a few, but for everyone. Safe schools is another huge issue as well. I have a number of youth who are volunteering on my campaign, and they have been just such great advocates of pushing forward for that issue. And healthcare is another important piece as well, and ensuring that everyone has access to affordable healthcare. In my opinion, healthcare is a human right. And I think that we really need to move past the sort of system of where, depending on the quality of jobs you have, determines what types of healthcare you get access to. We really need to give everyone an equal opportunity to be healthy in our state.
Amen to that. Absolutely. I mean, we have the greatest healthcare on the planet. It's not, the problem isn't quality, it's accessibility. And the reality is, in a country where we have people dying of treatable illnesses, that's unacceptable considering how good our healthcare system is.
Exactly.
I want to go back to small businesses, because you, of course, the 52B, as you described, Inver Grove Heights, Northern Egan, the Southeast Metro, this is a region which has grown dramatically. And it is at that point where, as you talk about small businesses, this is where we need to start encouraging that small business as it grows as part of individually as communities, but as part of the larger metro area. What are some ideas you have for sparking the small business growth in that district?
Well, one of the things that I really learned when I worked at the city of St. Paul, I did a lot of work in terms of really helping to grow and develop small businesses, and also part of the state's urban initiative board. And I think one of the most important things that we can really look at doing when we're thinking about supporting small businesses, the technical assistance pieces out there are invaluable. And when you think about the fact that the vast majority of businesses that start fail, it's very important that we are providing technical assistance, and also thinking about access to resources for these businesses to be successful. Because what we know is when small businesses thrive, they're often doing a lot of their work locally. Their dollars are being poured back into the community, and those are the bridges that help to build a stronger district and a stronger state overall.
Ruth Richardson for House 52B. Once again, this is the point, Ruth, where I make the plea to everyone out there. I want you to go help your local Democrat. That's by all means. Help your local Democrats get elected. But this summer, I want you to find 5 Democrats running in current Republican districts and help them any way you can, whether that's door knocking, making phone calls, making a donation. It doesn't matter. We need to take back the Minnesota House. It is very attainable with these metro area Republicans who are incredibly vulnerable. They're not caring about their districts. They're only caring about what Kurt Doubt tells them to care about. Hence, we can win those seats. Ruth Richardson is running for 52B. That's a seat we can win. If you would like to help out Ruth, it's ruthforhouse.com, right?
That is correct.
Ruth,
you can say it twice.
ruthforhouse.com, ruthforhouse.com. I will link Ruth. I'm going to link to everything a little bit later on, and we'll make sure we try to get everyone out to help. And once again, we've talked to some people in outstate races and outstate districts. If you want to make a trip out there, that's great. This is an easy one. This is right down 494. You're going to be in 52B. It's a piece of cake to get there. This is a great district for you to go help out in this summer. Ruth Richardson, 52B, Democrat of the day. Ruth, thank you so very much for the time. I do appreciate it.
Thanks, Matt. I appreciate the time.
All my best down there. I want to win that seat. 52B, Ruth's a fantastic candidate. Let's get 52B back on the side of the Democrats. 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. We'll take a break. Come on back. It's the Matt McNeil Show on AM 950.
Won't you lay hands on